I'm excited about this video because sales and marketing to a founder is usually the strangest place to be and the strangest hat that we've got to start wearing. For me, this is my home, right? This is what I do day in and day out for startups and for founders. And so I'm excited to give you the inside tactics on how to become a sales and marketing expert as a new founder. The first thing we want to do is just strategically think about our sales. I'm going to go through just a quick list of things that you should write down as a checklist and think through to become well-rounded as a sales and marketing leader. First, identify your ideal customer profile. You're probably building a product or service because you have an itch or you know who that person is. So this shouldn't take you very long and you shouldn't overthink it, but think very clearly and write down who that person is, what's the role, what are their pains and fears. Number two, want to develop a clear statement of the value proposition. What is the value you're delivering to them? How are you going to change their life, maybe personally or business, but somehow your product or service is going to change them and the trajectory they're on. Be very clear and make a very clear statement as to what that is. Number three, when we're thinking about selling, don't get into all the sales literature and everything. Just do a consultative sale. Talk to whoever that person that you're talking to, the ICP, and just have a conversation with them. Be consultative, ask a lot of questions, and then, of course, apply your expertise. That will close more deals than any fancy sales techniques. Number four, build relationships. When you're a founder and you're early in your stage, every relationship potentially has some leverage. So set up a lot of meetings, have a lot of Zoom calls, try to get to some industry events, and just talk to a lot of people. That feedback will make your business better. Leverage social proof. Even if you've got one customer, start talking about that story. How you changed that one customer's life will have more impact than talking about all the features and benefits inside of your product. So from customer one, start leveraging that as social proof. Offer something that is an incentive, right? That may be a free trial or a demo, depending on what your product is, or maybe it's just valuable content, right? So just giving value first should always be a part of your DNA and your sales and marketing strategy. Next, focus on metrics. You don't have to overdo this. You don't need some fancy dashboard. Pick out 2 or 3 numbers that you want to watch and you should be watching to indicate that your business is moving in the right direction. Maybe those numbers will change over time, but just pick out 2 or 3, start watching those for a couple weeks and see how they help to move the needle on your business. And then last but not least, and this is probably the most important, is just being persistent in everything you do. So being persistent in your follow-up. Never assume that just because you're getting an unresponsive reaction from someone, they're not interested. So one of the terms that I always like to use is be politely persistent. This also applies to the product and service and iterations and pivots that you might have to do. Persistence is everything as a founder. The next hat you're going to obviously have to wear is the marketing strategies hat. So how are you going to get your message out into the market? One of the things I see the most is people overthink this. They go back to classic marketing. They think of themselves as madmen or maybe the chief marketing officer at Coke. That's not who you are, right? So marketing strategies need to be very tactical and guerrilla-like when you're a founder. I always like to start with social media. It's something that we all use, and ultimately we're probably the most familiar with. We probably already got a community that we like to be involved with. We may even be a bit of an influencer in there. And certainly your ICP is relatively easy to find in one of the platforms. Maybe it's Twitter, maybe it's LinkedIn. Again, something you're comfortable with. Even Reddit. I know a lot of founders have been super successful in Reddit getting into their community. Social media, super easy place to start. Number 2 is building a library of content. So start writing, start creating videos. It doesn't have to be highly produced. The neat thing about kind of the last 10 years is the barrier or the bar that is expected has become lower and lower. People actually like authenticity and less production. So it's relatively easy for you to write short and easy, sort of off the top of your mind type of blog post and have it do well. Do the same thing with video. SEO, I think we need to think about SEO right at the beginning. Get yourself a relatively cheap SEO tool, Ahrefs, or there's a couple free ones or whatever. And all you're trying to figure out is you want to type in some keywords that you think are associated with your product and service and just see where the most searches are. We call that search demand. From there, just influences the type of content you're going to think about, because those searches essentially create distribution. And don't think this is just for blog posts or text, it's also for video. So if you're thinking about YouTube, take a look around. You can even just do it by observation. Do a few searches on YouTube in the search engine. You're going to see what's most in demand, and you're going to see the type of content that will help you move forward. So SEO, learn a little bit of that. Email marketing, this is, again, probably one of your most powerful, especially once you have content, weapons that you can use. Reach out to those ICPs. It's really easy to get lists these days, especially B2B. So those lists are easy to do. Email is safe to do. Just simply create some sequences and some emails that reach out and introduce what you're working on. And again, do it in, as I always say, a polite, persistent way, right? So be polite. You're amazed at the grace that you're given if you're not a jerk. So just be really nice in your emails. Tell them what you're up to. Don't try to trick them, and just send out simple little emails that tell people what you're up to. Influencers and partnership marketing. There are folks that you look up to and you've probably already seen in there. You will be surprised at how easy it is to engage who you perceive to be a big influencer that would be more than happy to help you out. So go ahead, reach out to those influencers, take a risk, let them know what you're up to, and you'll be surprised how many of those give you a helping hand because they were where you were at one point. Landing pages and call to action optimization. Make sure that you have specific pages for your product and service offering so that when you do get somebody pushed in to where you want to activate them or teach them about your product, that you have a nice, easy, quick, succinct, clear way to educate them about your product and get that next step. Maybe it's a download, maybe they're actually paying you, or maybe it's a discovery session. But again, make that page clear and succinct, and always have a place that you can push people to for that quick introduction to your product or your service. Data analytics. This is probably Google Analytics. It's just important to put this on your website and get an understanding of how people are interacting with, again, your product, your service, your website, your content, and those sorts of things. And then last but not least, user-generated content. Once you get into the community and you're starting to use things like social media, or you have your own content, you are probably going to, one, be generating content yourself, but you're probably also going to get opportunities to collaborate with other people that have audiences, and introducing that user or that influencer-generated content and collaboration can really up your visibility. Let's wrap with some tactical quick wins. You can use this like a checklist. First and foremost, implement a CRM system early. You're going to gather a lot of contacts, and you want to get those into your CRM system so that you can do outreach, you can do campaigns, you can just remember who those people are when they do come back to you, because you'll be surprised. You'll talk to somebody today, they'll come back to you 3 months later, and it's really powerful if you can tell that person what you talked about because you have a CRM system and good notes. Direct outreach. Feel confident to go ahead and reach out to your ideal customer profile and to people that are in the roles that you can help. You can do this on LinkedIn. You can do this in email. As long as you're polite about it, you will be highly effective. So don't be scared of that. Also, don't be scared of creating sequences. A lot of times people won't actually respond to the first or the second email or even LinkedIn response. They're just simply busy. Just because they're unresponsive, don't think the worst about that. Just again, polite persistence. You're going to hear me say it over and over again. Feel confident to continue to reach out to them because you have something of value. You want them to actually acknowledge and see that, but don't be a jerk about it. Attend and speak at industry events whenever you can. I've said this before. Conferences are starved for content. You will be amazed how easy it is to reach out to a conference and get a spot on a stage in front of 100 or so people to tell your message. There is nothing more powerful for that, both to get your message out and also to get immediate feedback from a really high intent type of client or ICP. Set up referral programs. Again, the best clients, especially when you're early in the stage, some of these early customers will be your most passionate advocates, right? So use them like evangelists, equip them with things that they can share, and then do some nice things for them. maybe swag, maybe it's a special gift or a thoughtful gift. Create some sort of referral reciprocity kind of system to help those early customers to promote you. Retargeting, whatever you're doing as far as marketing, especially if you're starting to spend dollars, don't forget to retarget them. So again, that could be on Facebook, that could be on Google, but ahead of actually spending marketing dollars, don't forget that your email list is your remarketing mechanism, and make sure that, again, you're reaching out on a regular basis with your email list. And then all of these things should be wrapped into some consistent A/B testing system. So whatever you're doing, always try something radically different against it and see if you get different results. That could be in your outreach, that could be in your marketing, that could even be a little side tweak on your product or service that you're not really sure. Maybe this will be better. So many times people have done a little bit of a test over here and done a complete pivot of their business, of their product and service. So always be testing. All right, we're going to wear lots of hats, and hopefully I've given you just a little bit of a starter into your sales and marketing hat. By using these things and thinking about these things, even writing them down as a checklist, you will be a better sales and marketing leader, number one, inside of your brand new startup. If you got to this point and you like this type of content, make sure that you like and subscribe, and we'll be at you with some more.